Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good day to Madam Jasmine Huaina as well as our fellow friends from DAM 5A. Today we're about to present our English Communicative 3 questionnaire review presentation for our final year project. Okay, alongside with me Hazim Shahrizwan and Nabi Hafiz and myself Akmal Hakim as project leader. Questionnaire chart number 1. For chart number 1 to chart number 3, usually it is related to respondents personal demographic. For chart number 1, we ask them about the occupation of our respondent. Okay, according to chart 1, for our questionnaire, there have been 41 responses to the survey that was sent out by us. The target users, we are targeting our maintenance personnel, polytechnic lecturers and aircraft maintenance student. So that in this chart we can see that our user base make up the majority of our survey. So the majority of the questionnaire response come from the student who are either currently participating in industrial practical or who have previously participated in avionic practices in semester 3. Okay, for student in this chart are accounted for 65.9%, followed by maintenance personnel for 12.2% and lecturer for about 7.3% in total. Okay, now we proceed to chart number 2. Okay, for our questionnaire chart number 2, we ask about our respondents' gender, so that we can have a big image of this aviation field. Who cover the aviation field? Is it male or female? So without delay anymore, okay, for our chart, the data on the gender demographic of the respondent are presented in chart number 2. There are 30 male respondents which account for 73.2% in total, while there are also 11 female respondents which accounted for 26.8% of the total. Based on this chart, we can conclude that the men are more likely than women to pursue careers in the field of aircraft engineering or aviation, because engineering is a part of heavy duty, so that in engineering mostly they are occupied by males. Okay, let's proceed with our questionnaire chart number 3. For chart number 3, we ask our respondent about their age. According to chart number 3, the majority of the respondents to this questionnaire were between the age of 19 to 25 years old, accounting for 41.5% of the total. Next, individual age less than 90 years old accounted for 26.8% of the total, and 40 years old respondents accounted for 24.4%, while the individual age between 26 to 40 years old accounted for 7.3%. Okay, for the next few questionnaire chart will be continued by Hazim. And
chart 4 will be explaining the vast majority of respondents do not have the necessary experience in handling aircraft batteries. This account is approximately 82.9%, which is equivalent to 34 respondents. The other category accounted for 17.7% of response, with a total of 7 respondents have experience in performing tasks related to the handling of aircraft batteries. Even though the vast majority of those who responded to the surveys had limited knowledge, the handling of aircraft batteries, even though the vast majority of those who responded to the surveys had limited knowledge regarding the proper way to handle aircraft batteries. They had solid understanding and were briefed at the beginning of the questionnaire surveys on the danger involved and what could occur if they handle something heavy improper way. Questionnaire chart 5. In relation to the chart that came before chart 4, only individual who has prior experience working in aircraft batteries in the field will be allowed to proceed to the next station. If one look at chart 5, they will see that there are 5 different levels of difficulty with the task. These levels are for the very easy, 1, easy, 2, moderate, 3, hard, 4, and very hard, 5. Only 4 of 7 people who participate in this section had the experience of finding the task of installation removing aircraft batteries to be challenging. This number represents roughly 57.5% of overall total. The other 3 responded who experienced with difficulty range from easy to moderate to very difficult respectively. This was not one of single respondent who selected the easy to questionnaire chart 6. Chart 6 is explaining how long does it take to carry a single battery up to its compartment, which is located in 24D. Chart 6 displays the average amount of time required to finish the task of aircraft battery installation and removal. As reported by 7 respondents with intensive experience according to the data represented in this chart, 4 out of 7 experienced responded chose a time span of less than 30 minutes in order to finish an aircraft installation and removal, while the other remaining 3 responded chose a time span more than 30 minutes in order to finish the job. This time frame could be shorter or longer for each individual depending on the person's capability as well, since age can be a major factor towards these conditions, as well as the number of people who are tasked with the completion of particular activities. As we all know, to finish a task such as changing aircraft batteries requires 2 people, but some people can handle it by their own, but as the vast majority is using questionnaire chart 7. Based on your experience, how many people are needed to complete an aircraft changing task? As I mentioned before, usually people needed at least 2 people or even 3, but some people are more expert, they use only a single person needed task. And this chart 7 is showing that explaining how exactly many people it requires to change the battery. There are a variety of perspectives represented in this chart 7, which shows the amount of manpower that requires to successfully install and remove aircraft batteries. The majority of respondents are in agreement that this activity only requires 2 people, which accounts for approximately 42.9% of response. This followed by 3 people, which accounts for approximately 28.6% of response, and free opinion option also accounts for approximately 28.6% of the response. Furthermore, if one looks at the chart that was just represented, there is no indication that response chose to have only 1%. Because of the amount of manpower assigned to the task affect its productivity, the response agreed that at least 2 people should be assigned involving installation and removal of aircraft batteries. This consists based responded previously on experience. In the detailed question section of the surveys, for experienced respondent has reached its conclusion with the represented on the chart. Now I will pass to Nabil to explain into chart 8, 9 and 10.
Questionnaire chart A shows the factors that may contribute to poor work performance when it comes to lifting an aircraft battery. So from the questionnaire, the majority of respondents choose the load factor problems, which makes sense because that survey and research may be connected to the manipulation of weighty items like the aircraft batteries. So the problem with load factors were mentioned by the approximately of 98% of the surveys, which is 22 participants. However, this is not end of the problem because the chart also demonstrates that the load factor is followed by the both environment factor and age factor, with both these factors accounting for approximately for the same percentages of the respondents, which is approximately of 48.8% to a total of 20 respondents. Our performance is greatly influenced not only by the external factors, such as our environment, but also by internal factors, such as our age. For instance, if the environment of the workplace does not fulfill our requirements or is not appropriate for a particular job, then the task at the hand cannot be completed in the appropriate manner. In terms of our age factor, elder people typically use less energy than younger people do, which slows down the turnaround time and increases the likelihood of the suffering of potential of injury. After all, the survey was followed by the organizational or psychosocial factor, which accounted for approximately of 29.3%, the total of the 12 respondents, due to inadequate documentation of the doing things in the organization and poor social lifestyle. The survey demonstrates on the two problem factors that were chosen by at least by the respondent. These are the task factor and the lifestyle factor. It is possible because these two factors that have least influence in terms of how they contribute to poor work performance. Both reported factors were responsible for approximately of the 26.8 and 19.5% of the work. From questionnaire chart 9 asks the respondent that aircraft battery mishandling related incident occur frequently. The majority of the respondents, approximately of 98.3%, which is the total out of the 28 of 41 respondents, concur that incidents related to aircraft battery mishandling occur frequently, whereas the remaining, which is minority with 31.7%, with total of 13 respondents claim that incidents related to aircraft battery mishandling in the field occur very infrequently. Questionnaire chart 10 asks the respondents' opinion, what is the most common injury associated to aircraft battery mishandling? For the number one of the choice was a back sprain, which accounted for 68.3% out of the total, with a total of 28 individuals out of the 41 respondents. Lifting an object requires a back support, which can come from our spine or any of the muscles that are located in our back. Regarding the subject of our investigation, which is aircraft batteries, the back of the aircraft battery, which is quite hefty and can be measured up to and even exceeded 30 kilograms in the total. The muzzle pulse pulse received a total of 6 respondents, accounting for the 14.6% of the total and placing in the second place overall. Muzzle pulse can happen everywhere in our body, including the back, which is related to the back sprains. When it comes to the art of lifting heavy objects, the muscles that are embedded within our arms are the ones that come into the play the most prominently. As the consequence of this, we have the significant propensity to suffer from muscle pulls along the arm. Next, a spinal injury may also occur in connection with a back sprain, but this injury places a greater emphasis of our spine. The spinal injury was responsible for approximately of 90.8% of the total, with a total of only 4 respondents. Injuries to the wrist were ranked as the least desirable by respondents, making up 7.3% of the total despite having only 3 respondents. However, none of the respondents provided any information regarding to the elbow injury.
Now we jump to our conclusion. So the conclusion of our questionnaire is based on the factors that we accounted, which are the load factor of the battery or the weight factor and the environment factor. When we perform aircraft battery handling task, the weight factor has a greater impact on a person who suffers from back pain. This is due to poor battery handling posture. Furthermore, 2 people are required to complete this task effectively. An individual who suffers from uneasiness when working in small spaces in such as ENEB of our Legend 24D, we can classify that as an environmental factor in this situation. While completing these tasks, this result in a semi-workspace and an inefficient process. As a result, we propose to develop a device that can easily perform or assist any technician or maintenance personnel in battery handling tasks to reduce future problem and possible injuries. That's all from our group. Thank you very much.